Hello, and welcome back to Three Legacies Recovery Recording Podcast, where we explore the ongoing journey of recovery and the spiritual growth that comes with it. If you enjoy our program, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share with a friend. Please note that the views expressed on this podcast are solely our individual views and do not represent any official stance of any 12-step program. We are not affiliated with any specific recovery organization, and this content should not be considered professional advice for alcoholism or addiction.
Hey everyone, it's Paul from Three Legacies Recovery Recording Podcast with a quick note before we get started with this episode. It's hard to believe we've been doing this for an entire year now. It's been such an amazing experience getting to know everybody. We already have the majority of 2026 booked up and we have a lot of great guests scheduled. We don't make any money off YouTube or any of the other platforms. This podcast is completely self-supporting and we've spent a lot of money, time, and energy into it simply just because we love doing it. We're not trying to make a profit, but we are trying to cover our upcoming expenses if that's at all possible. If you'd like to be a part of that, you can make a contribution at our Venmo, which is Recovery Recordings 615. We'd like to keep this commercial free. Thank you. Hello everyone, it's Sunday, December 21st, 2025. Welcome back to Three Legacies Recovery Recording Podcast. I'm your host, Paul. This is episode 90. If you'd like to reach us on our email address, you can reach us at recoveryrecordings615@yahoo.com. You also have a private Facebook page. You can get on there and send us a friend's request. We'd love to add you to the page. Let's see, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Tonight, actually, we have Jerry P. from Palouse, Washington, and Stephen T. from Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to be doing continuing a series that we've been doing on the 12 traditions. Tonight, we're doing tradition 5 and 6. Next Sunday, which is December 28th, we have JS from Sedona, Arizona. We're doing an episode called Sustainable Spirituality. Super excited about that. My prayer here today is that something spoken here touches your heart, draws you closer to the Spirit, helps you receive strength needed to keep moving forward towards healing, hope, and renewal. And today we have Scott L. and Barclay R. from Nashville, Tennessee. How's it going, guys?
Cha-cha-cha.
Oh, we're having more fun than the law allows.
Yeah, nice.
And this is episode 90?
It's
right?
episode 90.
I love that. That's my sobriety year.
Nice.
Is 90.
Nice.
1/1/90.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice. So you're about to have 36 years.
I am.
That's awesome.
I longer than I anticipated. True.
Nice.
Right. I understand that. I only committed to 28 days. That's all I agreed to.
Oh, yeah.
It really was. For me, it was like a New Year's resolution. I used to joke it was a New Year's resolution gone horribly awry.
You overdose on everything.
I did.
Let's, I like to start everything by taking a moment and let's all invite God to the meeting. Just in case someone listening doesn't have a God, let me recommend that you borrow mine. I recommend it very highly. It's got a great sense of humor. If you don't think so, he put Barclay in my life.
And I've been borrowing his God for 30 years now. So.
What would it take? So you can address him as a God of God's limited understanding. We believe God's already here, but special things happen for us when we stop and honor that presence. Let's take a moment and literally acknowledge the presence of deity. Amen. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say. So we're doing today's episode's page 112, and the first 3 words on that page are "read this book."
Right.
And I was going to have Scott talk about how this whole thing came
Well, that's
about.
the name of our home group.
It is.
The Page 112 group in Old Hickory, Tennessee.
Yes. Meets Monday nights and Wednesday nights at 6 p.m.
And we're available on Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And when we read that book.
Yeah. So you want to give the Zoom info?
I do. Yeah. The Zoom information is 814-873-207. That number again is 841-873-207. And the password is, and I love this, the password is whisper.
Nice.
Why do we have whisper, Scott?
All in lowercase. And the second set of the numbers he gave you was the correct one. By the way.
Did I miss it the first
You
time?
just transposed.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
why we
No
all
big deal.
hang
No.
out together.
The-
You know.
The whisper thing, I was in one of the gated communities that's a jail.
Yeah.
About 30 years ago. And we opened with a serenity prayer and end with the Lord's Prayer. And the serenity prayer sounded like an invitation to a fight. God, grant me serenity. I thought, man,
You
holy
may not.
cow.
There's some testosterone in jail.
They had testosterone poisoning and serious case of it. And I thought, I can't listen to them do that to the Lord's Prayer. I can't listen to it. And the thought occurred, and I said, let's whisper it slowly.
Right.
And some of them were in tears, and that's not an appropriate place to cry. But it was so deep, and I've taken that literally all over the world.
I love that.
And I mean, truly, it's like it really does, because there's no chanting. Because I mean, we can all get into
Yeah.
but it's just like it takes, when you slow it down and just whisper it, it just kind of turns it back into a prayer, which I love. It kind of freaks some people out when they're at the meeting, the first time. They go, I don't know what's going on now.
Yeah.
But that's why we whisper.
Kind of reconnects you to the silence. That space,
And it changes it from a ritual back into a prayer. We're not praying the prayers in recovery. We're reciting them.
Nice.
When you slow it down and whisper it, you're praying it again. So this came from our friend John E.
Okay.
Came up with the idea of skipping around the book.
Right.
Just read a little piece, and we do a number of men's retreats every year. And if I'm one of the facilitators, I like to do a page 112 meeting first. And the rules in that are, give us your name and your hometown, particularly for these retreats, and give us a page number. Give us a minute to get to that page. Read us a paragraph or less from one place, and tell us why you read it. You got 3 minutes. And we skip all over the book, and two wonderful things happen. One is the old timers get to show off how smart they are. I'm very fond of that.
Yeah.
And the second one is the newcomers get excited about the book.
Nice.
Exactly.
It's a double win.
It is.
It's a double win.
Yeah. So I'm going to start us off by breaking that rule immediately.
No, that's just for that. No, here there are no rules.
Gotcha. So what the word? I have a word that I want to talk about first. Okay, in the big book, I'm following. I really am. I want to follow everything we talk about is going to be directly out of the book. Sometimes it's phrases, sometimes it's paragraphs. I want to start with a word, and it's a word that I think is maybe the most important word in the big book. Honest to goodness. It's the word we. Okay? And I've done some research on it, and I'm sure there's probably people out there smarter than me that know the book more than I do and are going to correct me on it, and that's cool. Put it in the whatever, right? But I've done some research. The word we, the only word that's mentioned more than we, is thee. That's it. Thee is mentioned like 1,605 times. We is mentioned 1,091 times. And that's just in the chapters, right? Not everything else, just in the chapters, 1,091
That's
times.
before the stories.
That's before the stories, just in the chapters.
Wow.
And after like all the prefaces and everything, just in the chapters, 1,091 times.
Speaking of for any of the listeners, we'd love to have you all on the comments to the YouTube link. Just send us your own little, like your favorite parts out of the big book and what they mean to you. We'd love to hear from y'all.
And if it's 1,092, let me know, okay? So anyway, I really do love that. And we're going to talk about this in a minute, but we is 1,095 times. The word I is only mentioned 395 times, okay? And out of that 395 times, 209 times are out of Bill's story, right? and 25 times in Jim's explanation of how he got drunk, and 64 times in Fred's explanation. So that's 298 of those 395 times are in those little three places right there, which I love.
That's interesting.
So anyway, I heard a long time ago, and kind of why I want to talk about this part is because this is a battle that I have had my entire sobriety. Like I said, I'm coming up on 36 years, right? And I still to this day have a tendency to isolate. Right when things start going goofy, I heard somebody say a long time ago, an alcoholic is the only person who tries to treat loneliness with isolation. And I still do that, right? Right? It's like, I'm feeling so lonely, I better go away, right? We is the first word in the steps, right? And it doesn't lead steps 2 through, it doesn't lead the rest of the steps because it's understood. Once I commit myself to this thing, the we is understood. Does that make sense?
It's implied. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's implied. Absolutely is. Because I don't ever have to be alone again when I say I'm part of this deal. I'm part of this deal. It is also, my brain doesn't work right. Okay. So I was reading one time and I noticed that we of Alcoholics Anonymous, right, starts 3 of the first 4 chapters. In the first printing of the big book, it starts when you would read the foreword, you'd read the doctor's opinion, you'd read Bill's story, and then you'd read There Is a Solution, right? And in the foreword, it says, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are, and then in the doctor's opinion, it says, we of Alcoholics Anonymous believe. And then there's Bill's story, which starts war fever, right? And he's also the one that uses the I word 200 and whatever times, right? And then in There Is a Solution, it starts out, we of Alcoholics Anonymous know. And this is just my brain thinking, so big red flag, okay? When it says in the doctor's opinion, when it says in the foreword, it says, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are, that just tells me, it's kind of like the first step. It's like, I just am an alcoholic. That is a reality. I am an alcoholic, right? And it's also in the first step, we admit we are powerless over alcohol. Then in the doctor's opinion, it says, we of Alcoholics Anonymous believe. And in the second step, it says that we come to believe, right? We come here, and I have to admit, I did not believe. I didn't believe, but I have come to believe over the years in the power of we and the power of God. Then there's Bill's story, right? And then the next chapter is There Is a Solution, which is we of Alcoholics Anonymous know. And when I commit to going through the steps with another man in Alcoholics Anonymous, and we do those steps out of the big book, what transpires for me is that I have that promised spiritual awakening. I have, and I love the fact that Bill, the first printing of the first edition, had it having had a spiritual experience, right? But he changed it. He changed it to awakening. And my experience is that I become more and more awakened. My spirit becomes, first off, it becomes awakened. And as I've heard you, Scott, say so many times, my awakened spirit just isn't thirsty anymore, right? And I come to know this loving, caring God that I depend on. And I've heard this all throughout my sobriety. And I used to go, that's just the goofiest crap. But I heard it just not long ago, and it really stuck. It resonated with me. It says, when I becomes we, ill becomes well. And I really did. That just truly resonates with me, especially during the holiday season and stuff. It's easy for me to kind of back off. It's winter. I'm going to go hibernate, right? And I get ill when I do that.
Community is so important.
It absolutely is, man. It's only 1,091 times important.
Yeah, nice.
And I want to do this thing. Scott, will you do the thing with me with the eye and
sure,
wave?
So there's an interesting question.
Yes.
I think one of the most powerful questions in the book is on page 35.
Okay.
In the first full paragraph. It says, what sort of thinking dominates an alcoholic who repeats time after time the desperate experiment of the first drink? Dominates is a very powerful word. And my thinking does dominate me. That's part of what you guys had to do was help me change my thinking. And it goes on to talk for the rest of this page about Jim, who at one time owned an automobile agency and managed to drink it away. And imagine that.
What?
Yes. And he tried us just a little bit. And about 8 or 9 lines from the bottom of 35 says, all went well for a time, but he failed to enlarge his spiritual life. And that's something, I've been around this thing quite a while. And that's one thing I have to keep an eye on. My 2025 program might not be good enough for 26.
Amen.
I must remain in a growth mode. I need newcomer ears.
Needs to be fresh. Fresh is so important too. It's green and fresh and alive.
Yeah.
It needs to have some life to it.
Yeah. New growth.
Healthy by definition is growing. Yeah. So top of 36, yet he got drunk again. We asked him to tell us exactly how it happened. This is his story. Please note the difference. What we asked was exactly what happened. Yes. What we got was his story.
And it starts off with the word I. Yeah. Right?
Jack Nicholson has a great line in the movie, As Good as It Gets. He says, I'll always give you some version of the truth. Now, I believe that line was written by one of our people. I really think it was. And I heard in the Bluebird one night, I heard a country song, and one of the lines was, you'll never catch me alive. I'll tell you the truth at my own pace. So what we're going to do, what we have here in the rest of this page is what a combat pilot might call an after-action report. We're going to change it. From an after-action report to a telephone call that might have been made from Jim to his alleged sponsor. Barclay's going to play the part of Jim. I'm going to be the somewhat frustrated sponsor. This is his story.
Okay. I came to work on Tuesday morning.
What happened to Monday, Jim? A lot of guys work on Monday. That might be news to you. What do you cut hair for a living? You get Mondays off? Came to work on Tuesday morning. Okay, wonderful. I'm already fascinated by your story. Yes. Please continue with it.
And so I shall. I remember I felt irritated that I had to be a salesman for a concern I once owned.
Irritated? How about bent? How about your blood pressure shoots up 40 points, your face turns red, you develop this migraine headache when you think about working at those places you used to own? That's called minimizing. You can die from that. I'm certainly glad you called. We need to talk. Please continue with your story.
I shall. Though I had a few words with the boss, but nothing serious.
You had a fight with your boss and you don't think it was a serious? I have a news flash for you, Sparky. There's no such animal as an unserious fight with a boss. Were you fighting about Monday morning when you didn't come? Was that possibly what happened? You minimized again, sir. I'm so glad you brought that up. Please continue with your story.
Then I decided to drive into the country and see one of my prospects for a car.
Well, that's where they all are. It amazes me they spend the money. All those cars in that show must cost them a fortune, and they're lucky to have a genius like you that knows all the prospects around the country. This is just just fascinating. I'm learning so much. Please continue with your story.
On the way, I felt hungry, so I stopped at a roadside place where they have a bar.
Well, of course you did. I bet there's not a McDonald's within 5,000 miles of there. You, newly sober, having a hard time staying sober, of course you went to place with bar. Of course you did. I'm so glad you called.
I had no intention of drinking.
Of course not.
I thought I'd just...
You thought. I do not remember telling you to think. We have seen the evidence and the results of your thinking. But continue. You thought what?
Just a side note, this is kind of how our conversations go. Anyway, so
That's funny.
I had no notion. I had also had a notion, right?
I just thought.
Oh, yeah, I just thought I would get a sandwich.
Of course you did.
I also had a notion that I might find a customer for a car at this place, which is familiar, for I'd been going to it for years.
Wait a minute. Didn't we talk about that old Playmates and Playgrounds thing and about not going back to slippery places if you didn't want to slip? Yeah, and might find a customer for a car in that place. I bet there's 100 car salesmen out in the parking lot waiting for you to come out so they can come in and jump on all those prospective customers. Oh, my goodness. I love your thinking. Please continue with it.
I'd eaten there many times during the months I was sober.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't mention it to me.
I sat down at a table and ordered a sandwich and a glass of milk.
It's the only sane thing you did that day.
Still no thought of drinking.
Of course not. No thought. Your specialty. No thought. It's what you do best.
I ordered another sandwich and decided to have another glass of milk.
Let's overdose on something else. Alcoholic is defined as someone who can use up a 1-year supply of anything in less than 3 weeks. Please continue with your story.
Suddenly, the thought crossed my mind that if I were to put an ounce of whiskey in my milk, it couldn't hurt me on a full stomach.
Your kind of thinking.
Yes.
Sir. We have a name for that thinking. It's called alkalogic.
Oh.
Something that makes sense to a guy like you that nobody else in the world would have ever thought of.
Thus started one more journey to the asylum for Jim.
One more.
Right?
Yeah. Y'all forgive the Hollywood. We have a good we have a good time doing this.
Yes.
Bob D from Denver, from Las Vegas, and I did a number of workshops, and we came back from a break one time, and there was a little note up there, and it said it's okay to throw in some Hollywood as long as you're carrying the message.
That's funny.
I don't know who said that, but I got a kick out of it.
I love it.
So now I hope people are following along with their books. To get out page 36 and glance around and look how often the single letter word I appears. Right. It's all over this book, all over this page. The only we in there is where we asked him to tell us exactly how it happened. We didn't even get that. We got his story. That's the
true.
only we
That's
on the
true.
page.
I love that.
It's the only we on there.
Love
Yeah,
that. I do.
He lost the first word in the first step. Yeah.
Wow.
Perfect.
Nice.
Go ahead. You want to go for more?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I do.
You're hot.
Because what we just did is something that I knew beyond knowing was not a possibility when I came into Alcoholics
Which was having fun.
Which was having fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I went to my first meeting. I went to my sobriety date is January 1st. I made an entire week without drinking. I broke a door in my house. I broke the door in my truck. I beat a telephone on the wall to death.
Those things were heavy.
Oh, they were heavy. They could do some beating now. They really.
Yes, sir.
I beat a phone to death with the receiver. And I made it all the way to January 7th, right? Yeah. And my ex-wife, there's some information, my ex-wife said, why don't you go to one of those AA meetings?
Your future ex-wife.
Yes, my future ex-wife.
Yes.
Thank you. Said, why don't you go to one of those AA meetings? I said, why don't you find one for me? And so I went to this meeting, and I heard there was laughter. That was there's some things I remember about it, but the main thing that I remember about it was that they laughed. And Don Roy, I promise, I think it was Don Roy. Don Roy was a guy who was very instrumental in getting me sober. He used to sponsor both Scott and I back in the early 90s. Just absolutely one of the reasons I am still alive.
He also founded Central Office and started the Music City Roundup.
He did.
He was the man.
He was truly the guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gave me a big book. He said, take it home, read it. And there are two, there's the line that I remember from my first reading of the big book is right in the middle of page 132. And I know that you've all heard this before, but it's right. I mean, literally in the center of page 132, 17 lines down, 17 lines up, 2 words in on either side. I'll give you a moment to go there. Dun, 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 dun. We absolutely insist on enjoying life. We absolutely insist on it, right? Yeah. The steps, they're suggestions, good suggestions, but we insist on enjoying life, right? And I got to tell you, if there were no joy in this thing, I would not be here. I know that I wouldn't be. There's and it really is there. I mean, it's all throughout the book. If you go to page write down on page 132, it says, if newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. And I would not have wanted this thing. I would not have come back. And that truly was. I hear a lot of people mistakenly, I think, say, relapse is just part of the process.
No, it's not.
It is absolutely not my experience. It is not my experience.
No.
When I came to my first AA meeting, I knew a few things. I knew I was crazy, but I knew you were crazier. Remember, John B. was at that meeting, and I remember him going, well, I used to drink mouthwash. And everybody went, wah! And I went, dang, man, I thought I had problems. Woo! But if I had not heard that laughter, I would not be here today. I know that in the bottom of my heart. Yeah. I got more. There's all kinds.
You want to do some more on the laughter or the joy?
I do. I absolutely do.
Because I got some pages. On
that. Me too. You go and then I'll go.
I'll do a couple. I'll do a couple and you do a couple.
Okay, cool.
Page 15.
Yep.
The joy of living we really have even under pressure with difficulty. Page 16.
Right.
There is, however, a vast amount of fun about it all.
Yeah, and you know what? It gets right after that. It says, I suppose some people would be shocked at our seeming worldliness and levity, but just underneath there's a deadly earnestness. Faith has to work 24 hours a day in and through us, or we perish. Right? There's some stories that I've heard in AA that I've got a story about waiting tables that I don't want to tell right now, but people love that story. In the rooms, they just go, oh my God, yeah, that's fun. I've told that story to the other 90% of the population.
To the humans?
To the humans, yes. I almost. And they're like, you did what?
Yeah, they're not ready.
They don't know when to laugh, right?
They're not ready.
Oh my God. Yes. And then there's also on page 152, right? On page 152.
Go ahead.
And this is a question that I know. This question kept me from getting sober, I know, for at least a year. And I don't think that I phrased it exactly this way, but 152, am I to be consigned to a life where I shall be stupid, boring, and glum? Right?
Yeah.
I knew I would never have fun, and I knew every couple of months I might have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stand it.
I have a friend who says his sponsor told him that boring and glum are optional. You might be stuck with stupid.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right? And it says we're sure that God wants us to be.
133.
Yeah,
That's where I was
130.
up to.
Thank you. Yeah. Page 133. We are sure that God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. Yeah. Oh my God. And honest to goodness, man, I hope that I am getting across, and if I'm not, forgive me. It's just lack of. I might be stuck with stupid, but this life that I have been given is truly. I am joyous. I'm happy and joyous. I see as two very kind of different things. Happy is like, oh man, I got this new car, woo, right? But that just goes away, right? Joyous is a feeling of being just right in this moment, even when things aren't going my way, right? I can still be joyful for the life that I have been given. And I think Ron, right? Ron says the first of those three, happy, joyous, and free, I have to get free.
Have to get free first.
I have to get free first, right? I have to get free of the alcohol. I have to get free. For me, the alcohol just kind of, the desire to drink was kind of lifted out of me about 4 months in. And I really haven't thought about drinking. Free.
Yeah, free. Yeah, and free comes through the step work.
Yes, absolutely.
And they don't look like it. When you're new, when I was new, the step looked like most of them were designed to punish me.
Yes.
Pretty obvious. And they were going to be painful and harmful, and I was going to hate them. And if we had time if we could go till dawn tomorrow, we couldn't cover all the things I was wrong about. And we'll talk about that. I got a couple more on the joyous and free.
Please,
you got a couple more pages, or you want me to go?
I do, but
what do you got? What page you got?
Okay, so I got 132. Going back to the bottom of page 132, right?
So we think.
Yes, exactly. We think cheerfulness and laughter make for usefulness, and I think you got some things to talk about on that, right? Cheerfulness and laughter absolutely make for usefulness. The reason I'm sitting here, one of the many reasons I'm sitting here, is because when I came into my first AA meeting, I saw your cheerful, that word, and I heard your laughter. And as I've heard you say so many times, Scott, laughter is the music of Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah. It really, really is. It absolutely is the reason I'm here.
Page 159, slightly above halfway down the page. Though they knew they must help other alcoholics if they would have remained sober, that motive became secondary. It was transcended by the happiness they found at giving of themselves for others. Bottom of 163.
Hold, please. Yep.
When a few men in this city have found themselves and have discovered the joy of helping others. Yeah. Yeah. Who'd have thunk it? Page.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Page 8.
Page 8?
Page 8.
Okay,
yeah, 10 or 12 lines from the bottom. Bill talks about the fourth dimension.
Yes.
He says, I was to know happiness, peace, and usefulness and way of life that's incredibly more wonderful as time passes. Happiness, I get that. Aristotle said everyone wants to be happy. I'll buy that. I want that for myself. Peace, yes, I want that for myself. I want to be calm in here and comfortable and peaceful. What in the world is usefulness doing on the list? That's for them. No, it isn't. It's for me.
Absolutely.
It's the path to happiness and peace.
And I know you have. I want you to go. I want you to do all of those. Okay.
Our friend Amy from Louisville says the door to happiness is marked inconvenient. Wait a minute. There's a first word. Divine inconvenient service. It's surrounding the happiness. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? And when I was diagnosed with cancer in my throat, I told the guys I sponsor, your first thought is wrong as usual. You're thinking Scott's got this life-threatening disease. He does not need my small problem. You got that exactly wrong again. Because I need to get out of me and there's no way out. But if I can get into you as a side effect, I'm out of me. I need your hangnails. Page 84 on the same, continuing on that thought. one of the 9-step promises, that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. Uselessness and self-pity, what are they doing together? The answer to that question is the path out of self-pity is they're being useful. I got into what I call depression. I know there's such a thing as clinical depression. I don't have it. But through the process of this cancer treatment, which is as rough as a stucco toilet seat, I might add, through that process, I got into depression a couple of times. For me, depression is thinking about myself, only me, and a bad future. It's borrowing pain from the future. And I followed direction. I picked up the phone and called you and said, what's going on in your life? How can I make it better? When I tried to lift your spirit, I lifted mine.
Right.
That's the path out of that. Page 15 in Bill's story. He says, my wife and I abandoned ourselves with enthusiasm to the idea of helping other alcoholics to a solution of their problems. It was fortunate, for my old associates remained skeptical for a year and a half, during which I found little work. I was not too well, listen to the power in the words, I was plagued. When's the last time you heard plague used as a verb? Plagued by waves of the two great killers of people like me, self-pity and resentments. John used to say, pour me a drink, right? This sometimes nearly drove me back to drink. I soon found when all other measures failed, work with another alcoholic would say today, many times I called to my hospital in despair. I look up despair. It means without hope. You have to go down through depression to get to despair. It lays under. I'm talking to a man there. I'd be basically lift up and set on my feet. Says designed for living. It works in rough going. Powerful, powerful stuff. That the path into happiness is not acquisition. There's nothing out there I can achieve, acquire, or attain that'll bring me happiness. Nothing. They'll give me pleasure for a limited period of time. Right. You bet. But the shine will wear off.
Absolutely.
I was in what we call the hard lines. My first. The company I was a part owner in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We helped open the first Home Depot. We were ground floor on that.
Wow.
And their management started making amazing amounts of money. And the purchasing agent in our category ordered a Lamborghini. And they don't say what color will box one up and send it to you. You got to wait. He had to wait 6 months. He was insane for 6 months. You couldn't bring him a price decrease for his best-selling item for hearing about this dadgum Lamborghini. And he got it, and 2 weeks later, he was tired of it. It took 2 weeks for the shine to wear off of a Lamborghini. It's getting what I want won't make me happy. It never did. Getting what I want gives me a hunger for more, better, and different. But it never feeds.
What you're talking about, it really kind of brings me to something that I very much wanted to talk about is the practical program of action that we have, right? You were talking about definitions.
Can I preface on
Please.
that? Because I want to cover what I consider to be the most important phrase in the entire book. You only get to say that once, right? It's on the Roman numeral 22 in the 4th to the 3rd edition.
Yes.
Third paragraph, the basic principles of the AA program.
XXII.
The III, yeah. It appears hold good for individuals with many different lifestyles, just as the program has brought recovery to many different nationalities. This next phrase is it. The 12 steps that summarize the program. That is a powerful piece of information. The steps I say in the wall are a summary. That's the Cliff Notes. My sponsor told me 41 years ago, if that was the whole program, we'd have a pamphlet instead of a book. That's the Cliff Notes. And the steps are clearly not part of the program. They are the program. No steps, no program. I've been doing this a long time. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody in and out of the program. I've seen maybe 10,000 in and out of the fellowship. I want to develop that just a little bit.
Please.
Page 164. Abandon yourself. So there are two fellowships mentioned in the book. The fellowship of AA that you're in. When you say you're an alcoholic, you're in AA, you are. End of discussion. There's a second fellowship that's mentioned twice. The second mentions on 164. It says, abandon yourself to God as you understand God, admit your faults to him and to your fellows, clear away the wreckage of your past, give freely what you find, and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit. The fellowship of the Spirit has different entrance requirements than the fellowship of AA. They look to me like the steps in narrative form. I've only seen two people that I know for absolute certain who really did the 12 steps out of this book drink again. And they were two guys I sponsored. And I know for a fact they did the work. I walked them through it. One of them married his new higher power. And she didn't like how much time he spent with us. He started cutting it back. We all know how well that worked. I think he just got his 16-year chip.
He did.
He's back.
He did.
And the other one was a hotel manager. And he started running a dude ranch in Arizona, 40 miles from nearest meeting, and quit going. And he backed away from AA. And 2 years later, he drank for 2 weeks. Today, he's sober over 20 years. And what I say is they allowed their membership in the Fellowship of the Spirit to lapse. And when that membership lapsed, they relapsed. When they re-upped their membership in the Fellowship of the Spirit, they got healthy again. So the entrance requirements for the Fellowship of the Spirit look to me like they're the 12 steps. And there's some, I didn't actually know George Washington, but I did vote for him. And they used to make a big production out of shall and we. When's the last time you heard somebody use the word shall? We don't use it. It has faded away. When I was in grammar school, I made a big production out of it. We will be running an hour, hour and a half in this little meeting.
Right.
But we shall has power.
Yeah.
There's emphasis when you say we shall. It says we shall be with you. You need to know that about the grammar to understand that there's power when they say that. It's not just a public service announcement. There's power in there. And we'll surely meet some of us who treads the road, not to happy destiny, but of happy. This is the road. We're in the destiny now. We're there right this second. Right this second. Yeah. So this idea that the 12 steps are the program, the expanded version. My sponsor said I was too sick to stay sober on the Fellowship of AA. I would need the program also.
Right.
and I did not know what he was talking about. I had gotten an advanced degree in treatment. I zipped through a 28-day treatment program in 6 weeks flat. I for a long
Did you
time
have to
thought,
wear one of those signs like Bill C?
no, I didn't.
I am not a counselor.
They held. I believed that they held me over for a couple of weeks to help the newer people.
You were more of a
Don't
TA
be
than
that way.
anything,
Don't
really.
be that way. Yes. Yeah. Did you want to do something? You want me to? You want me to kick
you
up?
know what?
Go ahead.
I actually do, because you're talking about the 12 steps are the program
Yes,
of
sir.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
I've heard you say many times that the definition of insanity is saying that you are in a 12-step program and not doing the 12 steps.
That's right.
All 12 steps.
That's it.
And I have, oddly enough, experience there, right?
Oh.
Because
Yes.
when I first got sober, I really did. I did almost everything you told me to do. All right. I was willing to go to many lengths. I did 1, 3. I did 1, 2, 3. That was easy. I did 4 and 5. Oh my God. I did a fourth step that was 30 pages long. But anyway, I did it, by golly. And I even did 8 and 9, which made me vomit a little bit in the back of my mouth. But what I did not do is I did not try to carry this message to the next alcoholic. I did 11 2/3 of the steps, right? I really did. And I did the math on that one time. It's 98.25%. So just saying.
Sound like it should get an A.
I know, right? But anyway, I did everything you told me to do, and I did not have the presence of mind to be able to point to that. When I got to at about 2 years sober, I did not want to drink anymore. I knew I couldn't drink anymore. I have a thing about suicide. I didn't want to commit suicide, but if you wanted to push me in front of a bus, that would have been okay, you know? Yeah. And I could not understand why I saw AA working for you, but it wasn't working for me. And Don Roy came into my life and said, you're going to, I'm your sponsor. My home group is now your home group. You're going to get there early. You're going to make coffee. You're going to greet people. You're going to stay the whole meeting. You're going to clean the coffee afterwards. And you and I are going to go through all 12 steps out of the big book. And you are going to start sponsoring people. And that is when first off, I went, I don't know. and he said, excuse me? No, he didn't say that. He said, no, you're going to start sponsoring people. And that is when it became real. I realized it. The program of Alcoholics Anonymous became real to me. And that, the series of practical steps that take me, Scott, you had when you were going through your 6-week program in 4 weeks or whatever, right?
Oh, when I zipped through that 28-day
you
treatment
zipped
program.
right through that. But you did. I've heard you describe it, and I've heard you be unable to describe it, right? But you had a kind of a white light experience.
Oh, I did. Absolutely.
I think that's incredible. I've never had one of those, right? And when I got here and I read Bill had one, and I heard people that had them, it was like, I don't know, man. But they give me, Bill and Dr. Bob give me this set of practical, it's a spiritual program of action, a practical program of action where I can, just like when I don't know how to do trigonometry, I get a math book, right? I get a trig book. I do the problems out of the book. I do the problems at the end of each chapter. I do all the stuff. And at the end of that course, at the end of that textbook, I know trigonometry. I can do trigonometry. When I do the steps out of this book, as it promises me, I have a spiritual awakening. And I love the fact that this butt doctor and this stockbroker put together
stock hustler. I'm not sure he ever had a broker's license. I don't know, but I don't think
they
so.
used to say about Dr. Bob, he was a proctological surgeon, right?
Yes.
And they say, if you want to lose your ass, go to Dr. Bob. But anyway, sorry. Anyway, but I love the fact that these two guys put down for a drunk like me how to have a textbook on how to have a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God, man.
For
I
sure.
mean, and I needed that practical step-by-step direction.
Yeah. Interesting fact. So we've been going out to the treatment center for the last 2.5 years. I always ask a handful of questions at the beginning of each time we go, right? And in 2.5 years, and you got to realize, like, this place rotates, it's a treatment center, so it's rotating, it's constant.
Gotcha.
In 2.5 years, one of the two questions that I ask is, one of them is who in here has ever worked any 12-step program and stayed sober over a year? And there's always like 3 or 4 guys. And then I always ask, who in here has ever worked a 12-step program, stayed sober over a year, and worked another person through the 12 steps? And in 2.5 years, I've only seen 8 guys raise their hand to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And I always talk to them, and it's always they just stop doing it or whatever.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the enlarging our spiritual life, the self-sacrifice. If we don't learn how to enlarge our spiritual life or continue to enlarge our spiritual life, we're self-sacrifice. We're just going to drink.
I over the course of my sobriety, I have had peaks and valleys. I've been times where I've been in it, baby. I'm in it to win it, and I've had times where I've not done very well, honestly. And at one point, I backed away and I backed away and I backed away, and the thought came to me one day. I was working with this very active alcoholic, and he was kind of my boss. And the thought came to me, man, if I could just get drunk with this guy, we would be able to see eye to eye, right? And I had not all the sponsees that I had very intelligently went far, far away from me, right? And that was truly a gift, because that's when, I don't know if it's a gift, but that's when I called Scott and said, dude, I need to do a 4th step. And he said to me, I don't know how to do that. I said, Scott, you're like Dr. 4th step, dude. And he goes, only way I know how to do it is to start on one and work through it. Yeah. And that's when we started working together, and we'll be forever grateful and other things.
I think my guardian angel made bonus that day.
I love you.
I love you so much. You're such a joy. One of my problems when I came to you guys was the things I didn't know.
Yes.
Howsoever. My biggest problem was the things I knew for absolute certain that were actually incorrect. I think my recovery really began when I started to release my grip on the things I knew for sure. The book suggests on several pages, and I'm going to go through a few of them, that idea. Page 568.
Hold, please.
There's a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation.
Right.
There's the same. Go ahead.
No. I was you made me think of something.
Says the same thing on 143.
Right.
To get over drinking will require. I've always wondered if that was important.
Yes.
Require a transformation of thought and attitude. Transformation, that's a total change. Page 58, and what I affectionately call the most read, least listened to portion of our literature. 4 lines from the bottom. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas. The result was nil till we let go. Absolutely. I have my own definition of old ideas. It's everything I learned through noon yesterday. It's now an old idea. Page 51, dead center. In the realm of the material, men's minds were fettered by superstition, tradition, all sorts of fixed ideas. I look up fetter. I didn't know the word. It means to restrict. It's the same concept.
They used to fetter horses.
They fetter horses on the trail ride.
Like when they would be on the trail ride, they would tie their front legs together.
So they could stand and walk and browse, but they couldn't run, so it'd be easy to catch, Page 42, about 8 lines from the bottom. It meant I would have to throw several lifelong conceptions out of the window. One is one, two's a couple. Several's more than two. Things I believed all my life out the window. Page 27, Carl Jung, arguably, for my money, the greatest psychologist that ever lived, telling a guy named Roland Hazard that he ain't got a snowball's chance unless one thing can happen. Dead center at 27. Ideas, emotions, and attitudes were once the guiding forces that lives these men are suddenly cast to one side. A completely new set of conception motives begin to dominate them. Completely new set.
Yeah, right.
And Roman numeral 29, in the doctor's opinion, about 8 lines down.
Okay.
This is repeated over and over unless this person can experience an entire, which is more than half.
Right.
An entire psychic change. That's very low levels of recovery. Those things all say the same thing.
And by the way, psychic, I looked up, right? And it says having to do with the human psyche. And I went, that's tricky. But so I went, okay, psyche. And I looked up psyche. And it said having to do with the human soul. So all I have to do is completely change my soul. It's not a big deal.
All those things say the same thing. In Tennessee English, what they say is some of what I know for sure ain't so.
It goes back to freedom, what you were talking about. We got to get freed up. Like when you're stuck in all that and there's no, it's like you're stuck. There's no freedom in any of that.
And I have to, in We Agnostics, it uses prejudice many times, right? And it talks about, our old prejudices. And I had many prejudices when I first got here. I remember the first time I read the word miraculous. All I could think of is there was Ernest Angley back in the 70s and 80s. Here you go. It's a miracle. That's the only thing. But anyway, miracle and born again, I had real prejudices against that terminology. And it invites me in the book to really look at those terms that I have a prejudice about. And I have to be in an ongoing quest to look at the prejudices I continue to have today, I really do, because I still have, they're not as blatant as they used to be, but they're still there.
Yeah.
They're still there.
I'll think it's the person saying it if I don't take a look at it, put some awareness to it. It's like, wow, it's just me. It's just an old freaking idea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Bob Deeve says, don't worry about being prejudiced against any people. If you are, when you're sober about 2 years, one of them will show up at your home group and ask you to sponsor them. It'll get taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Right.
There's something else for me. I'm going to go to page 45. Most people are aware that Bill Wilson was asked on a number of occasions the difference between shortcomings and character defects. Reference step 6 and 7. He said, I just didn't want to use the same words over and over again. Here we have him on page 45 using the same single word 6 times in 9 lines. It says, the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Lack of power, that was our dilemma. Had to find a power which we could live. It had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. We're in how to find this power. Exactly what the book's about. Main object, enable you to find a power greater than yourself. Our problem was not lack of motivation. It wasn't lack of information. It wasn't lack of education. My problem was lack of power. And what we do here is not cerebral. It's experiential. I love the story. I wish I could remember who told it about the sponsee calls the sponsor one time. He says, I just can't get this thing. There's no hope for me. I've read this book 3 or 4 times and I just can't get it. The sponsor says, have you got a cookbook? What? He said, have you got a cookbook? Yes, I do. He said, well, get it. He said, see if there's a recipe for chocolate cake. Just do it. Read me the recipe for chocolate cake.
Right.
So he read it. He says, okay, that's great. Read it again. All right, just read it again. He said, all right, now read it the 3rd time. All right, now I'm coming over, cut me a piece of the cake. He says, cut you the piece of you old fool. I didn't do, I just read,
Right.
Cut me a piece of the cake. I've got several favorite pages in this book.
Okay.
It runs something over 500, but I'm going to just touch on one of them. Page 46 has 13 and 46 both have, for me, big pieces. 46, it was impossible for any of us to fully define or comprehend that power which is God. So it tells me to get out of the business of trying to understand God. That's not the assignment. When we talk about God as you understand Him, it's going to go on this next paragraph to say that what we're saying is you don't have to believe what anybody else ever told you about God, and we don't care how qualified they claim to be. The other one of the 2 best pieces of news I have ever gotten in my entire life is 5 lines in the bottom. We found that God does not make too hard terms of those who seek Him. Let me translate that into Tennessee English. God ain't mad at us. Man, that's some good news. That's not what I've been told.
Right.
The other one is on 62, and it's going to take me a minute to set it up.
Okay.
It's going to take me a minute to find it. It says, selfishness of sinners that we think is the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms, not mildly bothered on rare occasions, driven by 100 forms of fear. Fear is the deep concern I may not get my will at some time in the future. Self-delusion, I believe my own BS. Ron says he's only got 2 brain cells left. One of them creates BS, the other one buys it.
Right.
Self-seeking, I'm full throttle after my will, not thinking about you at all. Self-pity, poor me, I did get my will in the past. Poor me, I'm not getting my will right now. Pour me a drink. At this point, my sponsor said, how'd you like some good news? I said, well, I would like that.
Right.
He said, how would you like the best news? I said, Lord, hit me with it.
Yeah.
He said, so our troubles we think are basically for our own making. And I said, was that it? He said, that was it. I said, I don't get it.
Yeah.
He said, if the problem really is the cops, the courts, the judges, the Russians, the Chinese, your future ex-wife, her mother, and their lawyer. If those people really are the problem, you lose. The good news is that you, sir, are the problem. If you'll bring some willingness to this party, we can work on that. Willingness, bottom, and surrender all have the same definition. Exact same. It's when someone who's qualified, my sponsor, for example, asks me to do something I don't like, that I don't think will help, that I don't think matters, that I don't want to do, and I do it anyway. It is that do it anyway that defines bottom, willingness, and surrender. So this idea, once I become the problem, there's hope. If they have to move 1/4 of an inch, I'm cooked. That concept appears on several other pages. 53. When we became alcoholics crushed by a self-imposed crisis.
Right.
Page 64, twice. Unless at once followed by a strenuous effort to face and get rid of the things in ourselves which had been blocking us. Further down 64, convinced itself, manifested in various ways what had defeated us. Page 103.
Hold, please.
I think I'm missing one. After all, our problems were of our own making. Oh, I remember the other one now. It's 133. It is clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. That gummit says that a lot of times.
It does.
I'm the problem. Mm-hmm. That is one of the 2 best pieces of news I have ever gotten. Let me do this thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just because I don't even have any idea how much time we have left or whatever. I just want to leave mainly time for you. Period.
He's in an easy chair. I think we can stay. He looks okay.
If what you're talking about is related to what you just talked. Anyway, page 77. Okay?
Oh, good. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
And on page 77 is, hold please. And
this is one of the ones I misunderstood. If you're going where I think you're going.
Yeah, well, our real purpose, right? Okay. So it says, our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us, right? And as I think you were probably about to say, I used to read that as my real purpose is to be of maximum service to God and the people about me.
Right.
Right. And I don't know how to run my own life, much less know how to be of real service to God and people around
I wouldn't know which way to turn out of the driveway to go to try to do that.
But what it actually says in the black part of the book, right?
You mean read it like all of the black part? Is that the point you're trying to make?
Words, I have a little dyslexia.
Yeah.
But our real purpose, that sounds rather important, right?
Somewhat, yeah.
My real purpose is to fit myself to be of maximum service to God and the people about us, right? And I knew from the first reading that is, okay, I need to get spiritually fit. And part of that is like not being drunk all the time, right? And to grow spiritually and become spiritually fit. I think it was Dick A from Atlanta that I first heard this from at one of those men's retreats we did, right? And what he said is that it is not just being spiritually fit. Yes, that is absolutely part of it. But my job is to become as fit as I can possibly be in all the areas of my life, right? Including I need to be as physically fit as I can be. I need to continue, and I got to tell you, I'm sitting here weighing way more than I should be weighing, and it has an impact on my energy level, right? If I just sit around my house, which I do sometimes, right? And just don't stay in physical shape, it impacts my ability to be of service to people. I need to be financially fit. I'm not saying I need to be rich, although that's what I used to. When I first got sober, it's like, oh, so I get sober and the God of cash and prizes gives me things, right? But that's not what it's. But I need to be financially fit so that if I need to be of service to other people in that regard, I am able to do that. I also need to be psychologically fit. I have been in this program I don't do it perfectly, but I have done the best that I could do for 35 years now. And there are things that happen inside this brain, right, that I have worked on it spiritually all I am capable of doing. And it requires some outside help. As Bill tells me in the book, God fit this, or gave the world, the page. I don't. Anyway, but when it is time for me to seek outside help, I need to seek outside help so I can become a better man for my kids and my friends and my sponsees and all the people that God puts in my world, right? And I have a long way to go, but I can say today that I am closer to being the man that I think God put me here on earth to be than I have ever been before.
I think you're dead solid perfect on it right now, to be honest with you. And I love that piece that you just did off of 77, to fit myself. And the way it was explained to me is the master craftsman reaches for the best tool laying the closest to his hand. I don't need to be worried about doing God's work. I need to be worried about being the best tool I can be and residing as close to his hand as I can.
Yeah, I heard Mary T the other day talk about how Don P would say, I'm not doing God's work, I'm working for God. Yeah. Wow. Man.
Yeah, I'm listening to a workshop by Don P and Tom I in my car right now. Yeah.
A couple of lightweights there.
Yeah, they're fairly decent. No, I'm serious. Yeah. Laugh at me well, but they got some pretty good stuff. And one of the things they said is the work of AA isn't doing the 12 steps. It is the doing of the 12 steps that fit you to do the work of AA, which is trying to carry the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I do the 77, I got another similar one on page 85.
Okay.
It's a one-word omission kind of thing.
Okay.
It's easy to let up in the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. If it's easy to let up, it must require effort to not let up. Right? Headed for trouble if we do. Alcohol's a subtle foe. We're not cured. Really have a daily reprieve. I look up a reprieve. It's a stay of execution or a delay of punishment.
Right.
A daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. So my reprieve is clearly not contingent on my spiritual condition. And I don't know what my spiritual condition is. I'm not qualified to judge it. It's contingent on the maintenance of it. And I'm a real good judge. I better be a good judge. That's what the evening half of step 11 is about, is for me to see what kind of maintenance did I do. I think maintenance means two things: to maintain the sense of not losing something I've already got, and also to maintenance in the same sense I maintenance my car.
Right.
I change the oil on time. I rotate the tires. I got the pressure on them. Same thing here is on 77, fit myself. Daily prayer and meditation, reading spiritual literature, attending meetings, sponsoring, being sponsored, letting people in traffic, saying please and thank you, closing my days with prayer and meditation, trying to walk in the sunlight of the Spirit, trying to lift all the spirits I come in contact with today. When I do those things, it fits me to be a maximum service, and it does the maintenance on my spiritual condition. And I don't need to worry about what my spiritual condition is or my spiritual growth. Those are not things I do, they're things I receive. What I do is these things that you guys have taught me.
God showed me this one this very morning. It's on 102. Start of the second to the last paragraph on that page. Your job, this is my job, right? My job now is to be at the place where you can be of maximum helpfulness to others. So I need to continue doing this work and be where it is, whether it's like, to be there, the closest tool to God's hand, right? Wherever that is.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean hang out in AA meetings all the time.
Just in case somebody comes in and asks for it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. What you were talking about, going out and being at the place where guys need help. Exactly. Carrying the message. Yeah. Bill called and found Bob. He and Bob hunted and found Bill Dodson. Yeah. I need to be proactive. It's good to be at the meeting and capture the newcomers, and we all do that well. Absolutely.
Speaking of that, will you go into the 552 where you talk about all the stuff that was done on that resentment, all the actions that was taken? Remember on 552, freedom from bondage?
I'm rather familiar, yeah.
You go into this little bit where you talk about all these things.
Yeah. My favorite misquote is, more will be revealed. No one can tell me what page that's on. I think it's because it's not in there. But it does say on 164, God will constantly disclose more to you and us. It's pretty much the same thing. I'm just playing. But I think that happened to a woman named Wynne Laws, which is who wrote this story, Freedom from Bondage. And because of that, and because my sponsor added this to my 4-step, and I found it to be very effective, I continued to do it. So I started at the bottom of 551. It says, one morning, however, I realized I had to get rid of it. The it is the resentment against her mother. For my reprieve, we already talked about it, was running out. If I didn't get rid of it, I was going to get drunk, and I didn't want to get drunk anymore. In my prayers that morning, I asked God to point out to me some way to be free of this resentment. During the day, a friend of mine brought me some magazines to take to a hospital group I was interested in. I looked through them, and there I found a banner across one and mentioned an article by a prominent clergyman, which I caught the word of resentment. I like to observe the sequence of events. 1, she sees something about herself that needs some work. Not something wrong with her, nothing wrong with any of us. 2, she prays about it. 3, she gets busy trying to help somebody else. 4, her answer falls out of the sky on her. It is a predictable sequence of events. That's the way it works. It says, in effect, if you have resentment you want to be free of. Now, if you read closely on page 66, we killed you with your resentment 7 times on that page. So if you'd kind of like to be free, pray for the person thinking that you resent, you'll be free. You don't get to pray that they get run over by a train. We're going to have to get real specific with you. Asking everything you want for yourself to be given to them, you'll be free. Ask for their health, their prosperity, their happiness, you'll be free. Even when you don't really want it for them and your prayers only words, or you don't mean it, go ahead and do it anyway.
And that part to me is very important, even if I don't mean it.
Yeah,
right?
Because that's how you find out that the resentment is gone. In the English language, there are 2 types of verbs, transitive and passive. Transitive, I do, pick up the book. Passive, it's raining, I go outside, I get wet. Look up the verb to forgive in your dictionary, I'll tell you it's transitive. It's not. It's passive. It's something I have to open up to receive. I do not have the power to forgive anyone. You hear anybody say, I forgive, I'll never forget? That's not forgive. That's stuff it. That's stuffing it. Forgiveness is a state of spirit. I don't have the power to change my spirit. I simply don't have the power. Yeah. And what this process, it was explained to me, resentment, this old anger is like ice around my heart. And the ice has a thickness based on the severity of the events, how long ago they happened, how much I've nurtured the resentment. And what we do with this is we're going to hold an icy heart up to the sunlight of the Spirit. Sunlight will melt ice. The sunlight always wins. It's a question of time and effort. The sunlight always wins. And you start praying that list, praying all kinds of good things for them. When you don't mean it, it's okay. I tell people when I take them through this work, if you have to start this prayer by saying, okay, God, I don't mean a word of this, and I'm doing it just because this idiot you got to sponsor me right now has told me to. Here we go. Got to start there? Go for it. I don't have any problem with it because the sunlight is going to melt the ice. Yeah. The sunlight is going to melt the ice. Yeah. Yeah, and this is about developing that spiritual condition. I got to dig that poison out because we're not asking you to approve of what they did. Right. I don't approve of it. Right. I don't even know what it was. That's not even requested. No. But when we're not asking you to let them off the hook, they're not on the hook. You are. That resentment is killing me.
Yeah.
And we're literally digging this poison out of my soul, and this works. And I tell them, I don't care how long this takes. We close a lot of meetings with a prayer, and one of the phrases is, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive. What that says is, God, if I don't forgive them, don't you forgive me. My sponsor told me 40-odd years ago, said, what you really want is mercy for yourself and justice for everybody else. Boy, he had me. And he said, the package is justice for everybody or mercy for everybody, and you are part of everybody. You get to choose.
That's, Scott told me to do that. And start sending love to people and praying for people.
You were so grateful for that.
I was so darn grateful.
I thought I might have lost him on that one.
No, and I have done that, and it really has. It has broken open things that just nothing. It couldn't. Miraculous, couldn't be explained. But one in particular, the first time I get along with people, I just kind of get along with people. But there's a few people that I've come across that I just can't get along with. And I had this in my old life. I had this producer that I just could not stand. And she hated me, and it was mutual, baby. It was absolutely mutual. We couldn't be in the same room with each other without just like this electricity of, right? And so I was talking to Scott about it, and I was going, stupid. And he said, you know what?
It lasted a lot longer than that.
He said, I want you to send her love. And I just went, oh my God.
The direction was to get up earlier in the morning, 10 minutes earlier, She gets 5 minutes of love before you leave the house, and when you get to the parking lot at work, you sit in your car and send her 5 minutes of love.
Yes, and every time
And
she
he was-
crosses, and every time she crosses your mind,
Yeah.
you stop and you send her love.
I've never had a sponsee more grateful to get a direction.
Oh, it
than
was
that.
amazing. Like I said, but I did it. And quite honestly,
Yeah.
like he said, it started out with, God, I don't mean this. You know I don't mean it. I know I don't mean it. As a matter of fact, we both know pretty much she's just a beep, right? But I'm going to do this thing because Scott told me to do it. And I started doing it, and I promise you, I don't think it was even 2 weeks.
It wasn't 2 weeks.
I don't think it was. And I'm in my vehicle outside of work, ready to go in, and it's raining, and I'm sitting there talking to Scott about some horrible thing that's going on in my life that I can't really remember. And so we're talking, and there's a knock on the driver's side window. I said, "Yeah, hold on a second." And I'll look up, and it's the beep, right? It's her. And so I cracked open my window. Yeah, what's going on? And she said, I was sitting with a Scott in my right hand and the beep on my left, right? And I said, "Hey, what's happening?" And she said, "I was just going to Donut Den, and I wanted to know if you'd like me to get you an eclair or something." And I went, "I'm good, but thank you." And I rolled up the window, and I turned to Scott, and I went, "You are not going to believe what just happened." And I'm telling you, man, I didn't do anything differently other than the prayer work that he told me to do. Yeah. And it just changed things. And that has happened several times since. It just works.
Love is the most powerful force in the universe and the most magnetic. Yeah, I've got multiple experiences on that too. Yeah. I'm going to dig a couple of pieces off of page 13 because they just added these two this past year.
They've been working on the 5th edition. They have.
Those of you who read this often, the 11th line, the last word is friend, capital F. It's a reference to God as a friend. I did not come here with that. God's will, and you're going to hell. And and a bunch of very well-meaning religious people have been trying to scare guys like me into being better guys for a long time, and guys like me don't scare. And this idea of God as a friend, because I believe if you don't have a friendly God, you can't do step 3. Literally cannot be done. The other thing that they added recently was in the last paragraph. My friend promised, I'm still on 13.
Okay, gotcha.
My friend promised when these things were done, I would enter upon a new relationship with my Creator. That implies I had an old one. If you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have said I didn't, and I would have been wrong. I did. It had a name. It's called 911. I'm sure you recognize these pre-AA prayers. God, please help me pass this test I didn't study for.
Right.
Please don't let her be pregnant. It's another very popular one. That one can be prayed after getting into recovery, too, I'm told. And the ladies tell me it can be prayed in the first person. Please don't let those flashing red and blue police lights be for me. Yeah. It's another very popular.
Yes.
And, of course, everyone's all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Usually between 2 and 3 in the morning, kneeling in the bathroom on the prayer rug. When we're down to the part of the proceeding where there's nothing coming out but noise and occasional tear. Right?
Yes,
I'll do the first line. You guys do the second.
Okay.
God, get me out of this, and
I'll never do it again.
Which is alcoholic for a minute. I'm sure you know.
Yes, it is.
So I did have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And when I look at it today, what I see is in those days when I prayed, I was trying to make him my God. I've been taught here is how to make me his man. That's a rather major difference.
I really like that friend, capital F friend.
Isn't that good?
And because I, of late, have been, and I don't mean this in any kind of disrespect or anything, but I've been referring to the God of my understanding as Gus. great universal spirit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, Gus, I want to hang out with Gus, right? Gus is a guy that let's just hang out and just be together, right? And I like that. I just really like it. I may not be using it next time you see me, but today, me and Gus are hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel so comfortable in his presence. I was taught to be afraid of him. I was absolutely taught to be afraid of him. And it's just the wrong thing. So we established on 46 that I cannot understand God. However, on 28,
Okay.
slightly above halfway down the page, if what we have learned and felt and seen means anything at all, means that all of us, whatever our race, creed, or color, are the children of a living creator with whom we may form a relationship upon simple and understandable terms, as soon as we are willing and honest enough to try. So I can understand the relationship. And the relationship, as I understand it today, is I have invited God in to run my life, and he has accepted. That's the relationship. And instead of me trying to make him my God, I'm trying to make me his man. It's an entirely different thing. And that, I got one that's not. Go ahead.
Oh, just that word "try," the last word in that sentence. That word for me is very important. It's the same word that's in the 12th step, right? Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And for me, I stumble toward everything I do. I do the best I can do, but I stumble a lot. And it gives me permission to just try. I don't have to even be good at it, But as long as I'm in there swinging, it's all good.
I don't have to be of service. I just have to try to be of service.
Yes.
And try has always been one of my favorite words because I'm actually try addicted. I'm addicted to everything I tried. Well, it's the truth. But this idea, one of the things that we can do that I don't think I would be comfortable doing in any church, I don't think they are, but an attitude toward a friendly God puts humor into the relationship. And I like to tell new sponsees that this sponsorship thing is a two-way street. I need you as much as you need me. God doesn't bring two of us together to help one. He's more efficient than that. That's how he got the job. You can't be saying that at the nearest church. They're not going to relate well to that. But we think that's funny. Yeah. We think that's funny because we know we're comfortable in his presence. Yeah. There's something else I want to dig out that I have a lot of fun with. Page 38. The last paragraph begins with some. If you count up 3 lines above that, it says, where alcohol has been involved, we've been strangely insane. Strangely insane. That would be different from typically insane or normally insane or average insane. We have raised the bar on insanity. I am so excited for us. I just think that's wonderful.
Yes, some things we do very well.
Isn't that just great?
Really, really well.
Page 20.
Okay.
Our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depend upon our very lives. Depend on our constant thought of others and how we might help meet their needs.
Constant thought of others. Wow.
And that's certainly something that I'm stumbling toward.
Sure.
I come nowhere near constant.
Also, I like that if you read the line or so before that, kind of ties into that.
Yeah. Starting at the bottom of 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, most of us sense that real tolerance of other people's shortcomings and viewpoints and a respect for their opinions and attitudes, which make our attitudes which make us more useful to others. Right? Yeah.
It goes into like the common theme over the last couple episodes has been like, it doesn't matter how we feel. Are we letting feelings driving our decisions, or is it principle based? Yeah.
And it goes back to that, useful. When I first got sober, I I did. I saw everybody. I saw the laughter. I felt your joy. I wanted that. And I mistakenly thought, well, if I just act happy, I'll get happy. Right?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. And I know I get the thought process behind it and everything, but I can't fake it in here. I can't. I faked it too much out there, And I just thought if I acted happy enough and I laughed enough, it was like, ha, 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 ha. How you doing, Barclay? I'm great. I'm just going to be over here blowing my brains out, right? But it wasn't until Don said, you are going to be useful. And I started working toward becoming useful. And then happiness just came up and it became, I became a useful, happy person.
It just fell out of the sky on you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, and it works. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I was in one of the other gated communities. This one was a state prison.
Huh?
I was in as a volunteer. And to me, jail and prison meetings are different in the way that you can run them. In a jail meeting, I pretty much need to drive the meeting. Because if you let them start talking, you're going to get roar, 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 my lawyer and all that stuff. In a prison where they're going to be there a while and they've got books, a page 112 meeting will blow your skirt up over your head. Believe me, it will. And that's where I was. And these guys had books for a while. But they couldn't have a meeting if I didn't show up. So I show up. Nice to see you guys. Have your meeting. I jump back. They do a page 112 meeting, and I wish I'd kept up. But this is one of the things I got out of there. Page 456. About 5 lines from the bottom. AA has accomplished so many things in my life today. Has given me my sanity and all-around sense of balance. Now, willing to listen and take suggestions, I found that the process of discovering who I really am begins with knowing how I really don't want to be. That's what the first 5 steps are about, is finding out who I don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy anymore. That's what that step work is about, is to discover that, so I don't have to be that guy anymore. I just think that is so powerful.
If you don't do this stuff, you don't see it. You just can't see it. It's that one line in step 6, objectionable. It's like,
I do. I begin to see it as objectionable.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if it's not objectionable, why am I going to try to let go of it?
Yeah, because it's I knew that your reaction to something in me was not good.
Yeah.
And your reaction was objectionable.
Yeah.
But I could, truly, I could never see. I would just walk into people and kind of make them burst into flames and go, "Dude, I'm sorry."
Seemingly without provocation.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
Oh my God! If I was so sick of saying I'm sorry when I got here, I mean, truly, it was like every other sentence out of my mouth was "I'm sorry," and I needed to be sorry, but I just kept doing the same.
I was going
crap.
to do it again. 276. There is no more aloneness without awful ache so deep in the heart of every alcoholic that nothing before could ever reach it. That ache is gone and never need return again. Now there is a sense of belonging, of being wanted and needed and loved. In return for a bottle and a hangover, we've been given the keys of the kingdom. That's exactly it. I was alone all my life. People laugh about it and they make jokes about it, but I swear I kept expecting the spaceship to land and say, "It was a mistake. Come on, we're going home."
Yeah.
Because I never fit. Now I fit. You guys are my tribe, and I wouldn't trade you for anything. I'm sad for every non-alcoholic on the planet because they're not with us.
Yeah.
No one's having more fun than we are.
Yeah. That's true.
This is just an astonishing thing that happens to us, and it happens all day, every day. I tell the new guys all the time, this is not being without problems. You're going to have problems. I got a huge one. Biggest problem I've ever had. I have to deal with it every day of my life. My problem is I've got more spectacular people in my life than I got time for. Mr. Newcomer, how'd you like to trade your worsen for that? I can show you how. Get that blue book out and have a seat.
But you're going to miss it if you don't show up and do the deal, right?
Yeah.
Man, like, how many people do you see just come in? They're just,
I just need my paper signed, man.
Yeah.
It's
like they're standing in the middle of their ticket to freedom.
Was it standing knee deep in a river and dying of thirst?
Yeah, wow.
I love that song.
Man.
Thank you, Kathy.
Wow.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now in 151, I've always loved that number.
Oh, baby.
Boy, you don't have to wait for that 151 rum. It'll take you downtown right now. You do not have to wait for that. Now and then, a serious drink being drawn to one says, I don't miss it all, feel better, work better, having a better time.
Right.
As ex-problem drinkers, we smile at such a sally. We know our friend is like a boy whistling in the dark to keep up his spirits. He fools himself. Inwardly, he would give anything to take a half a dozen drinks and get away with them. Now, that makes sense to me. I don't have the slightest interest in being a social drinker. It makes no sense to me. A drink for the boys on the way home, a beer while I watch the ball game or mow the grass, a glass of wine with this steak. Why? Why would you spend the money? Why would you light the fuse if you didn't want to hear it go boom? I don't get it.
Charlie P said whenever he heard this guy say, I wish I could just quit at like 7. You get it though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like 7.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a
7
good number.
or maybe 8.
Yeah. It says inwardly.
Number 18 that got me.
Inwardly, you give anything, take a half a dozen drinks. Half a dozen, the way I pour, no consequences. We could talk. That would make sense to me. And then for a newcomer, this next sentence might be the most important in the book. He will presently try the old game again, for he isn't happy about his sobriety.
Yeah.
That means you're going to have to find a way to get happy and sober concurrently, or you can't stay. And that's the message I like to take into the treatment centers and the gated communities, that I have found a way to be happy and sober concurrently, consistently. Not 100% of the time.
Right.
There are going to be problems. They promised them to me. I know where that is. Yeah, there are going to be low spots and problems, but by and large, this is a fabulous way to live. And you're going to be absolutely astounded at these people. I just listened to Charlie Carney again. What a character.
The most satisfactory years of your existence. The most, if that's not one of the biggest promises in the big book, I do not know what is. It's like your imagination will be fired. Life will mean something at last. The most satisfactory years of your existence lie ahead, and that truly has been my experience. It truly has been my experience.
I think it's important on that imagination being fired to talk about what that doesn't mean. Fired in the sense that you don't work here anymore. It means fired in the sense of pottery.
Yeah.
Where it was dull and they fired it and they brought it out and it was gorgeous and useful.
And gorgeous, yes.
Gorgeous and useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Page 124.
Okay.
One of my all-time.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to
because there's a nugget in here. Henry Ford once made a wise remark to the effect that experience is the thing of supreme value in life. It's true only if one is willing to turn the past to a good account. Someone told me the way you get free of your past is to make it useful. We grow by our willingness to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. That's exactly what we do. The next paragraph says, this painful past may be of infinite value to other families still struggling with their problem. We think each family which has been relieved will have something to do with who have not. That sentence, when I finally saw it maybe 10 years ago, changed everything. Because I had up until then talked about I owe this tremendous debt to these guys that carry this message to me. It's not true. They were overpaid. They were a tool in God's hand in my life, and they knew it, and they were overpaid. The reason the debt can never be fully repaid is because I will always owe it to someone who will inhabit. I will always owe it to the next new guy that shows up at the page 112 group. I will always owe it to him. That's why it can never be fully repaid. I thought that was kind of an interesting piece of
I
information.
love that. Yeah, and I love how my first sponsor was like I didn't like this at the time, but I'd call him when whatever the situation was, I was on fire.
Right.
The emergency du jour.
Right. he'd say, how are you supposed to work with another alcoholic if you don't ever have any experiences to go through? Right? And I'm sitting there like, screw this, But the truth is like, on down the road, all of a sudden someone shows up and they're going through the same thing. You're like, wow, divinely crafted, right? Divinely crafted to work with the next guy.
Yeah.
Other people don't get us. I was talking to my mom one day. My mom's not a drug addict or alcoholic, and I was talking to her about just, learning how to live in the moment,
Right.
what's helped me. And she was like, oh, that's that druggy stuff. That's what she said. That's that druggy stuff, Paul. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
One
Yes,
day at
it
a
is,
time.
Mom. Yeah.
I got another fun one here on page 25.
Okay.
Slightly past halfway down the page. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty. Our Creator has entered our hearts and lives in a way, or has entered into our hearts and lives in a way. And I think they're both right. I don't know which one was in Bill's mind when he wrote those words, but I just love that. Yeah. That part of what I'm trying to learn is to realize that I'm in his presence all the time. All the time. Are we approaching the end, fellas?
I think so. Although I will say there was something you said just a minute ago. Reminded on page 94, it says it's talking about making amends, right? And it says we must take the lead. I had like I said earlier, I've had periods of my sobriety where I've been all in. I've had periods of sobriety where I've not been a very good member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it has had lasting effects in my life. I burned my life to the ground, messed up my marriage, messed up my relationship with my kids. I screwed stuff up. And as a result, my son said, I don't have any interest in talking to you. I'll let you know. Until then, leave me alone. And I honored his request. And I talked to Scott, and I talked to folks, and they said, here's what might be good is, going forward, if there's a reason to just not contact him, but just like send him a text and say, happy birthday, thinking about you. Merry Christmas. But just, never say, I wish we could get back together again. Never. And I did that for years.
Yeah.
For years. But I was going through the steps one time, and one of the things I love about working with Scott is that I've been through the steps with other folks, and with Scott's not blessing, but like, yes, and bring back anything that you hear that I can use.
Yeah.
And I was going through the steps with Harold, and he pointed out that we must take the lead. And it felt as if it were time for me to go beyond what I had done for years. And I just, I called him and left a message, and he didn't answer, and I don't blame him. I really don't. And I said, I'd really like to go to lunch with you, and just, I miss you. I love you. You're my son. And I'd really like to establish a relationship with you. And we went to lunch, and it wasn't like it was perfect or anything, but we started talking. And that's been a year ago now. And I just got finished. He and I drove up to see my other daughter, who used to not speak to me, in right across the river from Cincinnati in Covington, and just had a beautiful time. We have a solid, good relationship, a new relationship. So if you're listening and you have a hard relationship with somebody, I would love to hear from you, and I would love to encourage you to take the lead.
Nice. Speaking of Harold, he was on here a week or two ago, and he told me to tell both of y'all a big hello.
Hello, Harold.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he was here since it's bow season. Okay, he was up in the tree talking to me.
Yeah. I'm available to anybody that wants to talk. My email address is scottjlee628@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And mine is Barclay BARCLAY 1190, because I do have an ego. That's my sobriety date. At gmail.com.
And if we're done, I got one more I'd like to read. Go for it. Page 457. From experience, I realized I cannot go back and make a brand new start. But through AA, I can start from now and make a brand new end.
Thank you.
Paul, thank you so much.
Seriously, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. This has been freaking awesome.
And thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Thank you, Barclay. Yeah.
I don't like having fun.
No. It's hard to get you to hold it down to fun.
I love you guys. I do.
Thank y'all so much. We'll set another date. Yeah, we'll set another date. Maybe even get John to come in here with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For all the listeners, thank everybody. Again, we'd love to hear, if y'all have some favorite parts in the big book, in the comments on here. Also, you just get on there and send us a comment on the link and let us know, why and some of your experiences with it. There's so many wonderful freaking nugs that come out of that book. Tonight we have Jerry P. from Palouse, Washington, and Stephen T. from Nashville. I think Stephen's actually part of y'all's home group too, right? And,
Oh yeah, Stephen.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're doing Traditions 5 and 6, and then again we have J.S. From Sedona, Arizona, next weekend. Next Sunday.
Weekend.
Yeah.
I have to. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. If anyone needs to reach out, again, the email for this podcast is recoveryrecordings615, and we'd love to hear from y'all. Until next time, have a wonderful evening.
Peace.
Hello, and welcome back to Three Legacies Recovery Recording Podcast, where we explore the ongoing journey of recovery and the spiritual growth that comes with it. If you enjoy our program, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share with a friend. Please note that the views expressed on this podcast are solely our individual views and do not represent any official stance of any 12-step program. We are not affiliated with any specific recovery organization, and this content should not be considered professional advice for alcoholism or addiction.
Hey everyone, it's Paul from Three Legacies Recovery Recording Podcast with a quick note before we get started with this episode. It's hard to believe we've been doing this for an entire year now. It's been such an amazing experience getting to know everybody. We already have the majority of 2026 booked up, and we have a lot of great guests scheduled. We don't make any money off YouTube or any of the other platforms. This podcast is completely self-supporting, and we've spent a lot of money, time, and energy into it, simply just because we love doing it. We're not trying to make a profit, but we are trying to cover our upcoming expenses if that's at all possible.